What is up, guys? Welcome to the channel, MMA AJ's Corner. This video we're just having a little mini breakdown of Aaron Pico's career thus far, with the exciting news that he's been added to the UFC featherweight division and they're chucking him in right off the bat against the number 4 Movsar Evloev. Good matchup for him, really, because if you know anything about Pico, which we're going to find out now, if you don't, you're going to learn now in the next 10 odd minutes, however long this video is, that putting him in for his debut when he might have the jitters against a non-puncher, non-striker kind of opponent might be the best possible plan, and then they can get their max worth out of him by fast-tracking him to a title and so forth, or main event status. So first off, let's have a little look, and go into this mode, at his record. His first ever fight was at Bellator NYC. Bellator's first ever massively flopping pay-per-view. I think it was the one where Michael Chandler main evented and got his leg kicked by Brent Primus. Went to sit down on the stool and they took it away and he's kind of had a comedic moment. But I'll never forget this fight. Zach Freeman, the altar boy. Really strange name, but they were all saying, oh, you don't want to fight this guy. He's a grown man in his 30s. He's a former champion, as in... regional level champion in some sort of organization, I can't remember where, but I'll never forget it because his name, the altar boy, was just so strange. But I remember the fight, he cracked him and he was almost, it was kind of reminiscent of the right hook that we're going to see now in a minute, that it also cost him a win, gave him one of his losses, but and he sort of slumped and it looked like he was going to go out cold, and he sort of caught him in a guillotine and got him that way. I can't remember whether he tapped him out or put him to sleep and John Jones macheted him kind of thing and just let him go. But either way, let's just double check. This guy, where was he a champion to? Yeah, he was an RFA champion. That was it. I don't think he'd been a champion, but he'd fought for a championship, and he went to decision with Thiago Moises back in 2016. So this guy was no joke. They really shouldn't have thrown him in there. But this guy was he was going to be the LeBron James of MMA, apparently, the Michael Jordan of MMA, and he had all the ability and the wrestling and the boxing and the power. He had all the ability in the world to be that guy, but they just ruined him by rushing him, and we're going to find that out now. When look at that, the guy only fought once after that, got punched out and never fought again. But we're going to see that through his career. So he started his career 0-1, guillotine choke, but he basically got knocked out and choked out, so that was embarrassing right in the start of round 1. So his career wasn't even 30 seconds old and he's already down 0-1. Then they dialed him back, give him 4 cans. Well, actually 3 cans. Leandro Higo was a very, very good fighter. That was a fight where I was like, man, I don't know if I should fight this guy. And I thought, if he does fight this guy, we're off to the races. He's straight back in there against elite opponents. I remember the Shane Crutchin one. I mean, the guy was built like he was going to fold in half. But anyway, hold on. Man, he looked like a fat flyweight. Honestly, like he looked like he was not built to take any kind of damage. No disrespect to the guy. Yeah, he looks like 6'1", 6'1" at featherweight. My word. Anyway, Leandro Higo, he beat him by punches. That was an impressive win. We thought, right, we're back with this guy. Then they throw him in against Henry Corrales, a very, very, very solid fighter, very good fighter, really decent fighter. He gets punched out straight away in a round, early on in the round 2. So that was a really bad loss. Then they threw him in again against Adam Barrett when they should have been bringing him back, but they probably thought, no, let's double down. Let's just throw him in there against Barrett, who's also a really, really good fighter. Corrales and Barrett is an even better fighter than Corrales, but they're both UFC level fighters easily. They both win fights in UFC, no problem. So he got knocked out by Corrales, and we're going to have a look at that now in a minute. It was absolutely brutal. And then they threw him in against Barrett, and let's have a look at these fights. So I've got him here. So here's the Corrales. I mean, I'm going to take a chance here on getting a strike. Screw it. If I get a strike, I get a strike. I can afford to get one. Playback speed normal. So let's have a look at this. Let's watch this. And you see, I remembered it being an uppercut. And when I started watching this, because I rewatched this before I started making this video, I thought, yeah, he gets him with the uppercut, but he doesn't. We'll see now. I mean, look at that. I mean, that is stone cold Steve Austin. Oh, I just... He is broken in half! That isn't some kind of learning KO. That's a devastating Bisping UFC 100 Dan Henderson level KO where it's gonna... I mean, Joe Rogan, I remember saying, like he did about Bisping, he was saying this isn't the kind of KO that's going to learn you any kind of thing. It's just going to damage you early on in your career. I mean, that was just... Let's watch it again. Dirty boxing to the body, uppercuts, or in the clinch, I should say. Oh! And he catches him with another right and another left. If you watch closely, he comes in with another right and another left, but he's already unconscious. The right, he's out, another right, another left, and the back of his head hits the floor. So he got hit unconscious, hit with another right, hit with another left, and the back of his head hit the floor. I mean, the cameras don't go back to him because he was their star boy, but I mean, that was absolutely brutal. Let's watch it one more time. Hitting him with the uppers to the body, to the head, and then just no defense, just bam, open, bam, good night. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, and let's look. Is that MMA Guru on the back of his? MMA Guru is Corrales' dad. By the looks of it. Okay. Enough with the jokes. Right, let's get back to... What am I doing here? Right, let's get back to... So at that point, he's now... He's gone... He got to 4-1. And then he would have been 5-1. No, sorry. 4-2, and then 4-3. So now, after the next fight, he's going to be 4-3. So he's almost a 500 record. Now let's have a look at the Boric one. This is just after he got hit Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's see what happens with Boric. Hold on, I had the... Because I was going to try playing it slow to avoid any could date. Comes with a high kick. And this fight, wow. This fight, just to put it in context, he did not want to strike at all. And pretty... Oh, I don't know what that says there. Dodgy. Pretty understandable. I mean, he's young. He was like 22, 23 at the time. He'd been brutally knocked out. He did not want to stand with this guy. He just wanted to keep him on the ground and keep him down. But this is just a terrible shot. This is like a Askren Masvidal level kind of thing. When you just see it, he shoots from... He just ducks his head from so far away. Just watch now. Ready? And he's that, and he still goes to duck, and he ducks into the knee. He switches it, switch knee. Look how far away he is, and he just... Huh. And this was just a terrible mistake. He's a young guy, but still, that is a terrible mistake for someone as good as Pico to do something like that. I mean, at that point, it looked like his career might just be over. Do you know what I mean? So then, we whack him in against a bunch of cans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Justin Gonzalez is a decent fighter, I'm pretty sure. I've seen him fight. He's not too bad. 0-2 in PFL, 3-3 in Bellator. Alright. He won on the Contender, but they obviously didn't sign him. He has a win over Kai Kamaka the third. Not bad. Andrew Fisher, don't know who that is, 19-8. And then Mads Benal, Timo Kurziev, Gabriel Braga, Brendan Loughnane. And he has some fought since. But that is pretty recent, so he might still be about. So... Aldi Edwards, and then bam, they put him in against Kennedy. I remember that fight. That was his first step back up. Kennedy's a pretty decent fighter. You might remember him from the UFC. Decent little featherweight. And he had a shoulder injury, legit shoulder injury as well too. This was at this point, I'm like, damn, this kid cannot catch a break. I remember thinking this kid's had such a prospect to such bad luck. I know it's not all luck, but man, this kid he's had a tough career already, man. I mean, he has. James Gonzalez, Pedro Carvalho, that's a step back up finally. Pedro Carvalho, decent fighter, you know, UFC level fighter, but a UFC level fighter these days, he isn't a UFC level fighter of 10, 15 years ago, not even close. And then Henry Corrales, he comes back and he wins that fight, that was impressive because Corrales is a good fighter. He put him out cold before, how many years before? 2019. So 5 years later, he comes back. Obviously, Corrales is going to be older than more shot one, but still, that guy put you out cold. Like Bisping said when he rematched Henderson, he still remembered that the last time he stepped into a cage with this man, he was rendered unconscious brutally. So he's got that back there. But when we look at his record, he doesn't really have a standout win. I mean, other than the Corrales, which, I mean, Corrales is a bit older then. Other than the Corrales win, his best win would have to be Leandro Higo, in my opinion. Leandro Higo. I mean, I think that's a better win than the Pedro Carvalho win, in my opinion. But Henry Corrales, so he's got 2 decent wins, but only one recently. I mean, his record is nowhere near what it should be. I mean, you can only fight what they put in front of you, but he did, and he got sparked quite a few times. It's going to be real interesting. I think this is great matchmaking. It's a very high-level fight. We're going to see what he's made of. But MMA wrestling and wrestling, and he was an amateur wrestler, proper wrestler, you know, NCAA wrestler or whatever it would have been, or whatever it would have been, a high school wrestler. I think he was in the Olympic team at like age 16. He just missed out by one spot of going to the Olympics. I think he would have been the youngest Olympian ever to hit the Olympics, but I think he missed out by one spot. I don't know if he was going to be an alternate or in the team, not quite sure. But it says rumoured upcoming bout. But they seem to have a date and the US fight night on May 17th, which is strange. But the smoke, there's fire in MMA. But this is the perfect matchup. But I actually think Movsar Evloev will win this. I think his wrestling in MMA is just, I mean, after beating Aljo, I don't see how Pico wins this fight unless he manages to knock him out. But I hate to say it, but I think Pico is going to do badly in the UFC. I think he's going to get knocked out again. I mean, I don't know if his chin will have recovered from that physically, mentally. It's going to be interesting to see, though. I've got nothing against him. I like watching him fight. Win or lose, he's super exciting. He's got amazing power, really good skill. His career just doesn't seem to have panned out for him. I genuinely believe if this could have been moved right, like they move someone in boxing, if he'd have been managed right, moved right, and they'd manoeuvred him correctly, I think this kid would have been Bellator champion by now and probably have a few defenses, and he'd be fighting, you know, Nurmagomedov and stuff, the Usman, you know what I mean? But that's just my thoughts. Smash the like, hit the subscribe, give me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about Pico coming up against Evloev and how you think he's going to do in UFC against these featherweights, because this division is murderer's row. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.